Well, welcome everybody to the first episode of Whispers from the Void. This is a podcast, a podcast that is pretty near and dear to me and my co-host here, Philippe. Um, we're gonna basically this first episode, we're gonna talk to you guys about how we first met, how we came to come up with the podcast, the things that we want to accomplish with the podcast. And more importantly, we want to have some fun. We want to talk about metal. We want to talk about some beer at times. We want to talk about basically, we want to really divulge into the types of music that we like and, what it takes to actually create the music that we hear today. I feel that going on along with all the Spotify stuff, you hear about how artists aren't properly compensated for what they do, which is a sad, sad thing. So I feel like people don't really understand what it takes to actually get to that point. So we're hoping that you listen to this, you kind of gain a new appreciation for the artists that you listen to, and really support them because they truly need it. And support us because we would really love to keep doing this and we really love to keep bringing the good word out to you. So without further ado, I will give it away to my co-host, my friend, Philippe, who lives literally in another part of the world.
Actually, I'm like at the other side of the border of where you live.
So it's funny how obviously the world is in all sorts of turmoil right now. You have COVID, you have basically, I don't even want to divulge into kind of the other shit that's been going on because unfortunately, 2020 has turned into a fucking shit show at this point. But
because it's because of that we are together. We are friends because of that, because of COVID. Like, I wasn't able to believe like I was going to just say thank you COVID, but thank you COVID for all the friends I made.
Exactly.
Thank you COVID for like COVID is a good thing.
It's absolutely insane. Those listening right now, how this podcast has actually come to be because I gotta tell you, it's literally just life. The fact that I got to meet Philippe in a group that we both love and dear is the group is called the Vox and Hops of Thirsty Thursday Hangout. So Matt McGakey of Vox and Hops, a podcast that we both find very interesting and love both dearly, had started a Facebook group and had started doing Zoom meetings, kind of like if you went to a bar on a Thursday and you were going to go see your friends, just kind of a hangout where you're going to talk about subjects and just see buddies and
and drink some
boys
beer.
And girls and hang out. You're going to have a good time. And I didn't fully believe in it, but I got to tell you, the fact that it has turned into such a big part of both of our lives has inspired us to really kind of extend upon that. That group in itself talks about a lot of different subjects, and we're basically people from all different parts of the world, which is crazy in itself. But with the technology nowadays, your Zoom, you can actually connect with people like that. And
exactly.
I think that we've done a pretty amazing job of actually connecting with a lot of people.
Like I will say, like at the first start of the COVID, everyone was like, "Oh, we are not together, but even if we are not together, we are together, even if we are not like at the same place. Mm-hmm. We are together, like at our homes with." Zoom, with Instagram, with Facebook Live or something. We are together even if we are not at the same place at the same time. I think COVID got some positive, a lot of negative, but some positive. So like I'm happy. I'm happy to meet you. I'm happy to have met like everyone or some of the people in the podcast in the virtual hang. So yeah, I'm a happy man.
Absolutely. I mean, it is. It's absolutely crazy. And when Philippe approached me, you know, to actually do this, it was very organic. And I feel that a lot of things, the best things in life happen organically. That's a quote directly from Matt, by the way, who actually hosts those groups. But I fully believe in that too. You know, the best things happen organically. And we're gonna do this organically. And like I said, our goal is that we hope that you take some things away from what we talk about, and you know, think about them in your everyday life, and you know, use them to your advantage. Because we just want to help educate, we want to help inform, and we really just want to, you know, appeal to the masses.
Our goal is like to just be with you when you need and have some fun. That's our goal.
So without further ado, you know, part of our whole thing is we're just two metalheads. We love extreme metal. We go out there, you know, as far as metal goes. You know, you could talk about the original four, you know, your Slayers, your Metallica, Megadeth.
Yeah.
You go on and on. But we like to take it that extra step, you know. So we like to bring forth, you know, we like to talk about all those other bands. And not only that, but the production, what it takes to actually create, you know, maybe these tour packages and also these different types of albums that you hear. I know Tech Death right now is very, very much something that is very thought out, very thorough. Of course, very technical, hence the name.
That's the name.
Exactly. But you know, there's other parts of just basic death metal albums that, you know, today we'll be talking a little bit about at the end of the podcast. We like to shout out some albums or some bands that we very much believe that people should be listening to or should give a listen to. And one of them for me today is going to be very old school, which is just straight to the point. And I think that, you know, it's a great way to start off the podcast because a lot of the time nowadays, especially, you try to separate yourselves from the group. And when you're talking about music and separating yourself, you would almost think that you have to be very overproduced, and you would have to think that you have to have some sort of niche and some sort of thing that kind of stands you out. But I think that, you know, some bands can do it very well without having to do all those extra things, you know, just in their music, just in their lyricism, and just in how they approach their song structure. And I feel like that the band that I have today does a very good job. And we also have a beer that we will talk about.
Do you want to begin?
Sure. Oh no, that went everywhere.
It's explosion!
It went everywhere. But hey, fuck it, right? That's all that matters.
YOLO! YOLO!
The beer that I have today is it's a Galaxy Pulp Daddy. It's a New England IPA. It's a hazy. It clocks in at 8%. It's from Greater Good Brewing, which is right here in Worcester.
Oh yeah,
they're a fucking great place. I highly recommend them, and I feel that they go right along with the bands that I want to highlight today because they're just straight to the point. There's no gimmicks. It's just old school fucking death metal. It's just the best stuff you can find, you know?
That's exactly what I think of what the band is. I don't want to spoil it because you said it to me, but yeah, this band is pretty sick. Pretty sick. It's pretty sick. But yeah, so maybe it's my turn of the beer?
Go for it, buddy.
So this is a new one. I haven't tasted yet. Like, so I don't know what it looks like, but I know it's a New England IPA. Ooh, I love it. So it's called L'ironie du 13, or you can say in English like the irony of 13. It's the company, and it's called the Archaic. Yeah, Archaic. Maybe I'm wrong, but in French it's l'archaïque. I think it's the same thing in English. So yeah, I don't know how it looks like. So let's pour it in our glass. Oh, and kids, you always have to rinse your glass before drinking beer because it's important.
I'm pretty bad at that. I'll take one drink, finish it, and then pour right immediately into the same glass.
It's a secret between us, but me too.
I just say, fuck it. Like, I'll just go right in, dude. Man, who has this many glasses?
Dude, this is fruity as fuck. Like, the smell? Holy shit, okay. Like, now I understand, because this thing, like, it's a little brand, but they are brewing, like, their beer at Le Rollbuck. Like, it's a brand that Matt is talking about a lot about in this on the channel on the virtual hang, and there was one hang like with Craig, if I'm not mistaken. Like
Craig Thorne of the BOAS podcast. Highly recommend you check it out if you want to learn more about craft beer. Both of those podcasts are a great place to listen to. BOAS podcast and the Vox and Hops podcast.
We'll put the links down below. So I'll put the links down below, and you will you will be able to see all of that. So and if you are listening audio, you just have to take your phone, go to BAOS podcast and Vox and Hops, and you're pretty good to go.
They do a lot more. They're going to go into a lot more about craft beer and different things like that, where we're not going to be that. We're going to be more talking about music and different things. We also will have the occasional agenda free, where we'll kind of talk about different things that are going on. Whether we have the special privilege of being in different places, so I can talk about different things that's going on around me. Philippe can talk about different things going on around him. Exactly. So we're gonna take that opportunity, and we're gonna kind of like expand our horizons, and we're gonna try to do the best we can. Because really, you talk about and it really kind of goes back to being a metalhead, but you have your elitists, fair, but you also have people who are like us. Their horizons and what they listen to are so broad, and they just have a lot of different things that they enjoy. One of my favorite pleasures is Clutch. I love Clutch. I love everything Clutch. But they're not really metal. They're like hard rock, blues, grassy. Like they're fucking, but they're great bands, and I love them.
Like it's the same thing with me. Like you like Clutch, I like Baroness. I got their shirt. It's an amazing like band. It's like it was metal. At one point, it was metal.
You're talking about the Red album.
The Red album and even the Blue. But the Blue was going to start this thing with the Yellow and Green album. But it was in the way of going to be what they are now. They are more like rock influence of prog, a little bit sludge because of the fuzz and all this sound that I love, like the sound that just get me into my heart, and I'm like, holy shit, I love it.
They got to do a lot of that with the Purple album.
Yeah, and for me, all their albums are good to listen because you can have this evolution. Because you listen to Red, and to be honest, Red is not my favorite album, but you have Red, which is pretty intense at some point, but sometimes they're calm. They are very weird. Like it's a weird album. To me, it's a weird album, but I like it. But my favorite, it's still Blue. The Blue album is pretty sick.
Yeah, see, I gotta go with Red. I like the original stuff. I mean, Isaac, the Bird thing, like just nice. Oh, dude, great riffs, Chuggy. It's awesome.
The riffs
I love the production of that album. Oh my god,
the riff of Isaac is like the best thing. Like, I got this project on my own that I just got inspired by the riff of Isaac. The little like this song. I was like, okay, it's Isaac. It's pretty good. And I saw Baroness like back in 2016 in Quebec.
Yeah.
And it was the best show of my life. One of the best, to be honest. Man. Like I saw Dillinger Escape like the same year, and it was one of the best too. But Baroness, like, the guy is always smiling, always enjoyable. Like, I got a photo with him when I had like no beard. I can put it like on the video maybe or not because it's a no photo.
Oh, dude, I would love to see you without a beard, honestly.
Maybe I will put it. Maybe, I don't know. I'm the editor of this video, so I can do whatever I want.
Yes, as you guys will learn, Philippe is a godsend. He's going to be doing a lot of the engineering work for the podcast. He does basically all of it. And the only reason I'm here is because I just kind of look pretty, I guess.
Yeah. You're like the charisma. I got some charisma, but you have it all. That's why you're like at the left. You're like one of the important.
I mean, like that's pushing it too, because like I don't have a whole lot, but I'll be running a lot of social media. So if anyone has messages or fuck it, you want to roast us, like I'll entertain it. I'll listen to it. And
I'll do the YouTube and Bandcamp stuff. If you want to put some comments on the video, you want to buy our stuff by not buying, but take it free, because why like spend $1 when you have a podcast free? And on Bandcamp is better. And if some people are saying like, oh, Spotify is better because you can have everything, Jack. No. Like, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of Spotify. Like, I like Spotify. I have an account, not a pro account, not a premium. I got this account sometimes when I'm at my home, at my computer, and I want to listen to some music, but different. I want to put it. Like, I can. But to be honest, like, I want to give the artist some money sometimes, and I'm like, Spotify cannot give them money. Like, it's not enough. You have to put more. And I don't want to go in the subject because there was
eventually we'll kind of go into that whole
one day, but
that kind of whole what I want to say, that relationship between Spotify or streaming platforms in general and artists. But really, again, it's the whole reason why we're here. We're hoping that we can bring a little light and a little faith back into, listening and supporting, the artists that you love.
Yeah.
Even if it is like a mainstream artist, because like you just have to support all of them.
You can support. You can support on Spotify. I'm not saying that you cannot support on Spotify, and you have to support on Bandcamp, but to be honest, that's my idea. I prefer, like, if I was an artist on Bandcamp and I was to not giving, but like selling my stuff, I would love it to put it on Bandcamp, because I can have some money, not only money, but some, like, people are like, oh, they are listening to my album, they are listening to my stuff. And not like, oh, it's one song over a fucking great playlist of like thousands and thousands songs.
Yeah. Well, that also might go back to, if you're an upcoming band and you get signed to a label, we'll say, you're signed to a label, you're going to have a certain amount of clauses in there that prevent you from doing a certain amount of things. And, funny enough, I mean, unless the unless they directly will support you on Bandcamp, I imagine all of them do. Like, let's be real. Bandcamp's kind of like that great, that great nugget in the bunch where I feel like they're, they'll support you in it, but they're really gonna hammer the streams. Like if they have a social media bias, like, they're gonna go in there, they're gonna support the Spotify playlist, they're gonna support the Apple Music playlist. It's not that they won't say, hey, this album's on Bandcamp too, but they're gonna get a cut from that.
Yeah.
But that's just how those work, and that's part of being a band, and that's part of just being an artist. You have to kind of take those give and takes, and that's why you sign to labels.
There's something interesting about this because some labels are on Bandcamp. And it's not a lot of things that I see every day. Like I
follow a few.
I think there was a band on Bandcamp, but they are on a label too. So their last album is on the label's Bandcamp, and the rest of the albums, like the other albums, are on the band's page of Bandcamp.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I follow. For instance, I follow $20 Spin. It's I fully believe in the label. I think the label is all about the artist. I think they do a fucking fantastic job. Bands like Terminal Nation, Cerebral Rot, Ulthar, if I'm saying that correctly. Spirit Adrift just had a new album come out. Black Magnet just had a new album come out, which is it's funny because Black Magnet is a little more out of what you would normally see from the label. Which was actually very cool to know that, they're able to kind of expand the horizons and do something a little different. They've done a great job. I'm all in on whatever they do. It's just some labels you got to be careful of. Some of the bands you love might be a part of labels who don't fully represent the bands in a full light. And that's kind of the thing you kind of weed out.
Like I like labels. I follow some of them, but I truly believe sometimes that you can have this independent. Like I truly believe in DIY, do it yourself. Like
the very shadow of intent approach.
I'm not saying that if you are on a label, you can't do it yourself. It's not DIY. No, labels are DIY sometimes. A lot of labels are very little. It's not at the same level of Century Media or of Season of Mist. But if we take Season of Mist, for example, they were beginning at the low level, but very low. Like it's a French label, and they began like at the very scrap of the bottom of the barrel, and they like put it very high now. Like they have some bands like Beyond Creation from Montreal. They have like Abath? They have a lot of bands. I said Abath, but a lot of bands are on Season of Mist. Archfire, one of my favorite technical death metal band, it's on Season of Mist.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if I go again on the DIY stuff, I love some bands that are independent, like you said, Shadow of Intent. Yes. I can say Protest the Hero.
I mean, Cryptopsy was also independent. Yeah. Cryptopsy was releasing things independently.
Yeah. At a certain point, they were independent. I heard some things, but I don't want to spoil. Maybe can answer to us, maybe. But I heard some things that they are not independent anymore, but don't want to go any further. But a lot of bands are independent. And my project, because I have a lot of projects, and one of my favorite projects that I talk a lot, it's Overdose of Bacon. If you want to follow us on Facebook and everything and stuff. So Overdose of Bacon.
You guys just have that one song at the moment.
We have one song. It's on Spotify, but I'm going maybe to not have Spotify anymore and just do it Bandcamp, because it's not a serious stuff. It's not. It's very silly. This band is very silly, and it's not a project that I want to do it forever. I just want to have some fun, and this project is pretty big now because we got a lot of guests, a lot of big guests. Not that big, not like Celine Dion big, but
like Shakira isn't gonna be guest vocal. You're not gonna have hips don't lie, you know.
Forever.
Yeah. You know, gang vocals in the fucking song.
Why not?
I kind of I guess, you know, as far as we can go with that, we're gonna talk a little bit about old school death metal today. That will be mostly the first episode. Now you got to kind of know us a little bit. My name's Evan. I don't even know if I fucking went into that.
And my name, you said it. My name is Philip,
Yeah.
but you can call me Phil. Or my nickname that some people of the Voxonovs gave me, it's Deux Vitesses, or you can say Two Speeds. And
Yes.
the reason for that is pretty simple. Maybe I would put in a picture, but the first time I met some of the Voxonovs people in Montreal, I was deciding between a beer and a cocktail. And it was very tough. And one guy just said, like, it's Steph Dell, or we can say it, the pumpkin hater.
Also of the procrastination podcast. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, go check it out. And yeah, this guy just told me, go with, like, I would say it in French, I would translate it. T'as juste à le faire en deux vitesses. You have to do it in two speeds. So I commanded like a drink, which was called the Thirsty and Miserable. It's based on the Black Flag song. And I had this beer. It's a beer from Trou du Diable. It's called the Smash Citra. So Smash Citra, it's single malt and single hop. Smash.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Citra is a hop name. And it's a pretty good hops, to be honest. Like a lot of IPA,
a very popular, yeah.
A lot of IPA will have it. Will have some Citra in it. So,
a lot of your New Englands, I believe, right?
Yeah, a lot of New Englands. Not all of the New England's IPA, but some of them got Citra, and some of them don't have it. So some IPA, a lot of IPA have Citra in it. A lot.
Yeah. I know just, you know, for the brewery that I have tonight, the Greater Good, Galaxy Pulp Daddy. Pulp Daddy is actually another beer that they have, and it won 2019 Massachusetts most tastiest beer, I believe.
Damn.
One of the most tastiest IPAs, and that's a Citra hops based IPA, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
All the props to them. They've done a fucking fantastic job. But yeah, no, Derby Test over there, doing his thing, just drinking at two speeds, having a grand old time.
I've started on the gang like a challenge called the Deux Vitesses Challenge or the Two Speed Challenge.
Oh man, dude, that got a little crazy.
It got a little crazy because they were doing like good, but not at the thing that I wanted. Because what they were doing, it's like they were drinking like an alcohol, like a rum, a gin, or something, or another cocktail. They were not sipping, they were drinking it, and they were drinking the beer.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not like
do it at the same time, brother.
Not at the same time. Okay. Take for example, this is my cocktail and this is my beer. Hello beer. Hello cocktail.
Yeah, I mean,
and yeah, what I do is I sip. I put it in my mouth, like at this side of my mouth.
You didn't lay that
drink
out,
it. I'm not drinking it together, but I'm doing it like a little mix. I'm not like gargle.
Gargle.
I don't know. Gargle. gargling. I'm not gargling in my mouth because there's a type of explosion that it's not very good for the mouth. So
Too much.
yeah, it's too much even for beer and a cocktail. So you take the cocktail, you take the beer, you just drink it together, and not like one after one. At the same time, but not like like that. Like that. I was going to say something in French. Sorry.
Yeah, fucking whenever you want to speak French, go right ahead. I'll be fucking in the black, but hey, let's go for it.
Hey, can we do this little topic of me learning some French?
So going on in the podcast, hopefully after, obviously being the first episode, we're gonna be kind of off the cuff. We're gonna just kind of explain a lot of things, but one of the segments we have coming up in more episodes is going to be that I learned French. It's called Evan Learns French from, what is it? Dr. Derby Test. Is that what you went with?
You can say
Professor,
it like
whatever the fuck you want.
say it like teacher de vitesse.
Yeah, sure.
Or Mr. de vitesse, whatever the fuck you want.
The fucking guy with the beard is gonna teach me how to fucking speak French, so it's gonna be great. And we'll have a couple other things in the works that we'll announce as we go. I say we start getting into a little bit of a topic. We talk about being overproduced. We talk about being something a little over the top when you're making an album. And sometimes, you can just be somebody who really likes the old school stuff. You hear a lot of it. Thrash metal people, very much old school. Very much something that's not really overproduced. And I have to say, going forward, I really like what's coming out of a couple different places with old school death metal. And you're talking about bands that really just put pedal to the metal and they just let it rip. Obviously you talk about Montreal being a hotbed for places like this, something where old school death metal really originated, or your Scandinavian countries, Sweden, even some Norway.
More of Sweden stuff.
Yeah,
Norway is more known for black metal, but there's some death metal, but black metal is the most popular. And you can talk about black metal old stuff, but production-wise, it's not very good, to be honest. But some are good. Some are good, but not good for me. It's not the thing I listen the most, but yeah, it's there. You can listen to this.
Yeah, I have a hard time because I'm so one way or another. A lot of people would probably call me like one of those chord kids or something. Being from Massachusetts, being from an area which is kind of so hardcore based, you had bands coming around like Converge. Converge is a little more Pennsylvania, but the Red Chord, you kind of lose, you kind of get indulged into a lot of different things. The Acacia Strain is from here, out there in Chicopee. And then you also have bands kind of like Fuming Mouth, which have more of a hardcore influence, but definitely have the death metal feel to them, which I feel is like what has really come out of this year. Which even though this year has kind of sucked, it has produced good music. It has produced some fantastic albums, Fuming Mouths being one of them, and also Terminal Nation being another. They are out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Holocene Extinction and Fuming Mouth being the Grand Descent. So it has produced good music. It's a shame that it had to happen this year because these are bands that I would love to see tour. And of course, I would love to see. Oh, and you talk about. Ulcerate. I believe that theirs came out this year. You talk about. I fucking am blanking already. Black Crown Initiate had an album drop this year. There's so many good bands. And Avatar. There's so many good bands that dropped great music. And I'd love to see tour. It's a fucking shame that we're not going to get to see that until at least next year. But whatever fucking gets rid of this shit quickly is what I'm saying.
You're from Massachusetts, and when you said Converge, I was like, I'm not sure if Converge is from Massachusetts, but I know.
Their label, is it their guitarist? Their guitarist has a label here in Beverly.
Okay, but the guitarist,
I believe it's Death Wish Records. I can never fucking remember, dude.
Yeah, Death Wish Inc. Founded by Jacob O'Bannon, the singer of.
The singer. Okay.
And the singer of Umbrovité, which is another band. Like he said, it's more of the death metal stuff. It's a super band. It's death metal stuff, but to be honest, it's Converge, but a little bit heavy, a little bit more heavy.
A little bit more, yeah.
A little bit more.
You get more of a
little bit more nasty, more dirty stuff. But it's not that I don't like this. I like Umbrovité, but I love more Converge. And you said the guitarist. The guitarist got a recording studio in Salem.
Yes. Okay.
It's a recording.
It's studio. It kind of gets so confusing when you talk about bands like that because being such a popular band, they have they have spread out so well. And
the recording studio, by the way, it's called God City Recording. And for the technical stuff and some nerdy stuff about guitars and everything, they got a pedal company. Like this guy is setting on the site Reverb, and sometimes he's doing some pedals like with some bass of pedal that exists, and he's doing his own thing. It's a God City pedal, I think, or God City Engineering, I don't know, but God City Instruments. That's what they call on Reverb. And now there's like nothing to sell, but sometimes he will like just put it out like a little advertisement on his page and just said, okay, I got some pedals ready. Who want it?
Yeah.
So he's selling sometimes some pedals, and Kurt Badu is a legend. Legend in the production. Of some hardcore stuff. He's a legend, and each time that I'm listening to Kurt Badu, I got some chills. A lot of producers, I like bands, but I will like more the producers than the band sometimes, because there's a lot of producers that got their thing, their sounds in another band's sounds. Like if I take, for example, Will Putney, he did like the Die Out Is Murder album. He did some Within Destruction. He did Body Count. And
all great bands. Did he do the latest Within Destruction, which almost was like, you remember that fucking whole thing where they were like, what was it? The grind scene was kind of like fighting it because they're like, it's not grind, but it's like it's death metal, and it's like, dude, I've heard that shit. I'm pretty sure it's fucking it's on your side of the label.
It's a Slam community, because Within Destruction is trolling a lot about and their merch is like the pinnacle of trolling. Like I had this little bag. It was a pink bag, a pink fanny pack, called written Slam on it.
Just hit them where it hurts.
They were selling some patches with Slam Police, and they're like,
yes, I do remember that. Yeah,
we are the true Slam. But if you listen to their stuff now, it's pretty heavy. But you got some hip hop, you got some trip hop over there, and. it's pretty strange, but I love this band so much.
It has a lot of different...
Go check out Yokai, everybody. Go.
Go. But yeah, it's got a lot of different techniques, I would say. A lot of different techniques.
Yeah, like Will Putney, what I love the most is his drums. His drums is pretty well produced. And the first time I took like a big listen of the drums, it's on the Bloodlust album of Body Count. The Body Count album, Bloodlust. The album
I like that album, dude.
The album before Carnivore. And the drums sound so huge and so like
the title song, the title song of that album, Bloodlust, is just so you feel that very heavy what is it, Southern California vibe with their music. It's fucking a great it's a great album.
You heard like you heard the influence of Ice-T with his hip-hop roots. You heard it so much. In the old stuff, you heard it a lot, but it is new stuff. It's pretty more modern, pretty more heavy. And if you listen to the album now, there's a lot of cover of his old stuff of Ice-T, like the song Colors. It's an old song of Ice-T, and it's pretty hip-hop. It's hip-hop so much, but with some heavy guitars and heavy chugging. And there was a song released on the album, released on the bonus, as bonus tracks. It's called 6 in the Morning, and it's so heavy. So heavy, but it's like 6 in the morning, like very hip-hop start. But it's going like like very okay, you want to punch him face.
His
face.
that's one of his best friends too. That's why he started the band. He started the band so that his buddy could actually be playing a band and play guitar.
Yeah, like
and he's a sick guitar player. So
so sick. Ernie C is pretty sick and pretty underrated. To be honest, he's pretty underrated. He's doing like some solos, and I'm like, it's Ernie C? What the fuck? Like,
he kills it.
It's so cool, and he's so like down to earth. All of the bands is down to earth. Like the old member, like all the former member are Ice-T and Ernie C. Is the former member of the band, and they are so down to earth. In interview, they are so great. I love Ice-T. I'm a big fan. Like I began to listen to hip hop because of Ice-T. Like I've listened to hip hop before when I was younger, like 10, 11, but I quit the hip hop style and go to my journey of metal and some core and other stuff. And then
I've always kind of kept that hip hop influence. Part of the reason I got into the heavier music was, you listen to Eminem. You listen to a lot of the older albums. You talk about I have Relapse to be one. And just kind of going off that deep end when he was on the drugs, trying to get off and stuff, and he had that hardcore lyricism. Well, that's what kind of opened me up to the lyricism in death metal. Basically, just hearing the same shit. Practically, I mean, he's in one song he's talking about cutting up somebody, and the next song they're talking about cutting up somebody. So it was pretty easy to make that transition, even though it was faster. The music was a lot more technical. You had more people going on, doing their own thing, which is what I thought made the song better. Rather than just being a hip hop track that somebody rapped to on, having it in the background.
And I think the thing is funny about hip hop and metal, it's because there's a lot of things that are related, like together.
Yes.
And I know we were talking about old death metal stuff. I will come back to that later, but I just want to talk about this thing about metal and hip hop, or even rock at some point. like if you take this rap artist called Machine Gun Kelly, now he's doing some rock stuff. He's doing some rock
we all saw how well that went. You talking about Lil Wayne just trying to fucking do guitar and
No,
shit.
not talking about Lil Wayne because fuck, I don't want to talk about his guitar playing. Like one person that talk about his guitar playing a lot and he's very popular because of that is Stevie T. I don't know if you know him. Go check his channel, everybody, because he needs to hit some 3 million subscriber and he will punch a bottle because of that. So yeah, it's like, to play guitar like Lil Wayne. Like you play guitar like this with Lil Wayne, you take it like 90 degree and you're doing this.
Yeah. Stuff that's already done over for you. You know, you just have to match it.
And he's not playing guitar that good. Like he suck.
Not at all.
He suck.
I guess we might as well just try to stick to the topic. I guess. I don't know.
Okay, let's go to the topic. Like, death metal.
I mean, who cares? We're here for fun.
But I want to talk about death metal just right now because we're talking about it. If you go in Montreal, there's a pretty good scene of death metal.
Amazing scene.
And if you follow Banger TV, Bradley Zodrager talk about the technical death metal scene and more about death metal in general. Like in Quebec, not Quebec City, but the province, in its way, it's a lot of death metal, like Gorguts, Beyond Creation. We have some not
Archfire.
lesser known stuff like it's Vancouver.
Fuck.
We have some Neuraxis, Augury, Beyond Creation. I said it. We got some Insurrection, which is from Gatineau, from our friend Yolin. We got a podcast. I would put it in the description. But and a lot of good death metal stuff over in Quebec. Some slam stuff like Necrotic Gore Beast from Quebec City. They are my dudes. They are fucking great. And yeah, we got a lot of death metal stuff. We got some thrash metal. We got some metalcore in Quebec City. There's a little the metalcore scene, and yeah, we got some stuff. Good stuff in the province and in Canada in general. Like you said, Archfire. There's a lot of bands. Very cool stuff in Canada.
Very their own thing. That is what I look at Archfire as. Just very much their own thing. But really the band and the album that I wanted to highlight tonight. We're getting to the end of our episode here, so I'll just go right into it. Cruel Fate, our buddy Yolin, who we also met through the Vox and Hops Social Thursday groups, has a band. This is his. And their album, which they released in December 20th of 2019, is a quaternary of Decrepit Nightmares. And I gotta tell you, as far as like talking about old school death metal, you can't really get much more perfect than this. It's just straight to the point. You don't have a whole lot of shit in the middle. They get in, they play their stuff. It's pretty well produced, and everything is just from front to back perfect in my mind. You don't need much more. And I feel that a lot of bands, being in today's atmosphere, they try to do a little too much. And I like to highlight a band like this because they've done everything just perfectly. They don't need to do a whole lot of little stuff. They just need to play. They just need to get recorded. They just need to get out there. And they've done a great job of that.
Cruel Fate is pretty cool and very different of some death metal that is coming out from the province. Like a lot of death metal are like blast beat all the way and very gnarly, very nasty sound. But Cruel Fate are nasty, are very dirty sounds, very old school.
A Quebec death metal band for those. I mentioned to say that, but a Quebec death metal band. Something it's funny. It's something I wouldn't have heard of before if I didn't have basically the spectrum that I do now. We'll get into it later on different episodes, but I've had the pleasure of getting to know so many people and getting to know so many different scenes out in the world that I feel just need some light. They just need to be seen.
I need my fix of underground metal.
Yes. If you're definitely looking for any type of bands that you've never heard before, you're looking for something different. Oh my God, do we have it? It's at our fingertips at this point. Like, Christ, we have freaking so much metal. In a day, I can't even consume all the stuff that we get shown, and the different bands that just need, some spotlights.
Just some recognition, man.
Oh my God, that's all you need.
Talking about band that needs some recognition, there's my spot. My shout out of the episode, my guys from Burning the Oppressor from Joliet. They released their album called Bloodshed in 2017, and they are maybe releasing this year or the next year their new album. It's called Damnation. They already announced it, and pretty good death metal stuff. Death metal, groovy, some core in it, some metalcore influence in it, some deathcore. It's diverse. A question that they had a lot was, what is your style? And they don't know. They do not know their styles because they are so diverse. So in a lot of genre at the same time, but more in the extreme genre, extreme metal, but some groovy stuff. And the singer, by the way, Kevin, if you're listening, thanks, man. Kudos to you. Very good stuff. And I think it will be listening to the podcast. Kevin is pretty good at the singing, and it's more on the hardcore stuff, really. Mm-hmm. His singing is pretty high, but I love it. I love the singing, and I love the stuff he's doing. And this album, Bloodshed, very good stuff. Very good. Go on Bandcamp, or I think they have a Spotify. Go on Spotify to stream it. But their album is $10 on Bandcamp. Not that expensive. $10 Canadian. A little less in American dollars. So
I think that for today, we're gonna sign off on that great note. Listen to Cruel Fate.
Listen to Burning the Oppressor.
Absolutely. Yeah, give them a listen. We both agree that they highly need some listens. They need to be known. They need to be brought into light. Follow on our Facebook page, Whispers from the Void, and also on Instagram at Whispers from the Void pod _. Let us know what you guys think a band that needs recognition. Somebody that you think really needs to be brought to light, and maybe we'll feature them in the next episode.
Fuck yes.
Yeah. Well,
fuck yeah.
So we're gonna sign off. We're gonna sign off, folks. Great to see you.
Yeah.
And we're happy to spread our wisdom, even though it is little.
Let's spread the wisdom on the earth. I think we'll end it like that.
We'll catch you guys later.
See you later, folks.